So let's talk about PPE and Matt Hancock. So let's do this thing. So 3 nurses forced to wear bin bags because of a shortage of PPE have tested positive for coronavirus. And so this picture came out a few weeks ago, and oh my, it's a very, very grim story. That's an interesting one I'm going to cover another time. Three nurses who wore bin bags on their shifts, these are like medical bin bags, due to a shortage in protective equipment, have reportedly tested positive for coronavirus. 3 weeks ago, the nurses shared a photo of themselves in clinical waste bags on their head and feet and issued a plea for proper masks. So this is the dire straits that we had and still currently have, I believe, because there isn't enough PPE. So let's keep going. The hospital previously declared an emergency situation after all of its critical care beds were filled with patients. More than 50% of staff on one ward have now tested positive for the coronavirus. So you've lost half the staff on one ward who are forced to isolate for, the UK says 1 week, but World Health Organization says 2 weeks. Gonna side with the World Health Organization on this one. Should be 2 weeks. That's after all your symptoms have gone as well. So the nurses told the publication, this is the Telegraph or Torygraph, that in March they had to use their initiative by wearing bin liners as they had no choice due to the lack of PPE. One nurse told them how they desperately needed proper equipment and were already having to treat colleagues as if they had caught the virus from patients. She continued, "There are so many younger people here on ventilation with asthma or diabetes. They can't stop coughing. They just cough and cough and cough and they can't help it, but there's little we can do apart from try to help them breathe." So they could easily catch the coronavirus when they're putting people in beds or onto isolators and things like that, because as you cough, this disease spreads. She added that nurses have been putting on brave smiles that said inside they were terrified. Many of them had not seen their families out of fear they would spread the virus to them. And that's why people like Gary Neville have given up hotel space in order for nurses and other medical professionals to stay there so they don't spread it onto their families. So according to Health Secretary Matt Hancock, just 5.7% of hospital doctors have been off due to the COVID-19, but a recent survey conducted by the Royal College of Physicians suggests the number could be near 14.6%. So Matt Hancock's pulled this number out purely because he probably hasn't tested that many people because there aren't enough tests. GPs can't get tests. Emergency and the necessary, if you're an essential worker, that's the one. Essential workers aren't getting tests. So this number would be far higher. Matt just pulled this one out. The Royal College of Nursing Chief Executive and General Secretary Dame Donna Kinner has also stated that nurses are being forced to share protective equipment on the front lines during this pandemic. So they have to share it. So say if one of these masks are, it's infected or whatever, it's got the stuff on it, they either have to wash it, or if they don't have time to do that, then they have to share it. They have to, wear it, and it's just grim. And so we know that, look, there are still NHS staff without proper protective equipment, and this is coming out on the 3rd. So that was, you could argue this article's old, however, it's still the case, and the Guardian want me to register. Go away. These are stories I wanted to cover, weeks ago, but I just haven't done it. So yeah, we can see here that, look, there's a lack of protective equipment, and so what Matt Hancock has said is, it's not our fault, it's the fact that they're not using it properly.
There's enough PPE to go round, but only if it's used in line with our guidance. We need everyone to treat PPE like the precious resource that it is. That means only using it when there's a clinical need, and not...
Because these guys are just using all the masks, like 5 masks on one person, Janine, do you really need 6 masks on your face? Like, yeah, sure, Shirley, I do. And so this is what this man's doing here. He's blaming NHS staff.
There's enough PPE to go round, but only if it's used in line with our guidance.
What a joker! He's blaming NHS staff. Look, again.
There's enough PPE to go round, but only if it's used in line with our guidance.
So this is coming from the 10th, 6 days ago. And so this guy, he's blaming NHS staff for this. What a clown. And so if we go here, he's saying that there is enough. So listen to this, right?
But the central challenge is one of distribution.
You're telling me, people in other countries, say we get the mask from China, right? You're telling me these guys can get the mask from the factory onto a plane, or a ferry, ship it over here, and the main problem that you have is getting it to a hospital. It's not getting the supply, it's just distributing it. It's not very difficult, big man. If you can get prime deliveries within 2 days, this should not be as big an issue as it is. But clearly, in Matt's infinite wisdom here, the problem
British
is,
companies are starting to make it.
and British companies are starting to make it. So we know they put the call in March for this to do this, even though they've known since January a pandemic was coming.
But the central challenge is one of distribution rather than one of supply.
So the supply is not the issue; it's just distribution. The easier bit, just getting it to hospitals and care homes, that's the difficult bit. All right, Matt, the roads are empty. You've already mobilised the military. You've reacted way too slow. And we've got Matt also said that nurses could have caught it outside of work as well. The gall of this guy, insane. One more here. So coronavirus. So this is coming out the 15th of April. So this is yesterday. This article was written. Okay. Protective gowns and masks could be reused by healthcare workers under last resort coronavirus plans revealed in a leaked Public Health of England document. So Matt saying here, right? There is enough.
There's enough PPE to go round, but only if it's used in line with our guidance.
Yeah, okay. And he's saying the problem now is distribution. So first he's saying there is enough, and then he's saying it's not enough. And, we've got Priti Patel here saying, I'm sorry if people feel like there have been failings on PPE. So what she's saying is, I'm sorry you feel like we failed you, but it's not our fault. And, Minister stuff's talking about we're working really, really hard. So I don't care how hard you're working right now. You're not getting results. Politics, results-based business. Well, it should be, but it's a spin-based business. All right, I don't care how hard you work. You can stick me in that Man United team. I can run for 2 minutes and my lungs give out. And, you can say that, oh, you're rubbish, get off. And what am I going to say? I'm working really, really hard here. Stop it, guys. It's a joke, an absolute joke. And look, I know I've been a bit aggressive here, and you can think that, look, I don't like this, but, this guy, bro. And, anyone all of these guys clapping for the NHS, and all of these guys who voted Tory, and all these ministers talking about, oh, we love the NHS, clap for the NHS, yeah?
Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here!
And you can say, look, I don't like your language. But yeah, this one's been really frustrating. If you want to language police me or whatever, I really don't care, And I'm sorry if there are kids in the room. I should have put a disclaimer out, but
get the fuck out of here!
Because yeah, honestly, blaming NHS staff, saying it's their fault now, effectively saying there is enough, and then in this interview a day after saying that the supply there is an issue with distribution. So is there enough or isn't there enough, Matt? That's the thing you've got to figure out now, and the fact that now he's throwing them under the bus. He's throwing the white mages that are healthcare workers who are putting their lives at risk because you didn't get your act together, because Boris Johnson said, take it on the chin, right? You went for herd immunity, no one else. This is on you, big man. You and your cabal, yeah? And just one more time for anyone who didn't hear it, yeah, Matt?
Get the fuck out of here!
Because I hope for you, mate, I hope you get hit with one of these. Because you're an idiot, man. Just a slight addition to my earlier ramblings. Matt Hancock said that whilst Boris Johnson was recovering, that, it's all going to Boris Johnson's plan. Yeah, all right, mate. One more time. For those who didn't hear it, clap for the NHS and vote Tory.
Get the fuck out of here!
And on that one, I'm done. If you guys want to say anything, leave it in the comments. But yeah, I'm beyond angry at this phase. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one.